Have you ever noticed how, like, just the color of a room can totally change how you feel?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, if you walk into a bright yellow room, you kind of get this, like, instant mood boost.
Yeah, yeah.
But then, like, a deep red can feel almost, like, too intense, you
Yes,
know?
totally, totally.
It's so interesting how color can have, like, this powerful effect on us.
Mm-hmm.
And filmmakers, like, they really get that. They know how to use it.
Yeah.
They use color to shape how we experience a movie. And
Mm.
today,
Mm-hmm.
we are diving deep into one of, like, the most visually stunningly examples.
Okay.
Amélie.
Amelie, yeah.
Amélie,
It's a masterclass in using color.
right?
And not just to, like, make things look pretty. It's
Yeah.
really about telling the story, revealing the character,
Yeah.
even exploring, like, deeper themes.
And what's so cool is that we have all of these different sources. We have film reviews. We have academic analyses.
Wow.
We even have a breakdown of the actual color palettes
Oh, wow.
that are used in the film.
That's amazing.
So we are going to unpack how Amélie uses color to, like, create its magic
Okay.
and what we can learn from it about visual storytelling.
I love it, yeah.
I think you'll be surprised by how much thought goes into something as simple as picking a color.
I think so, too.
Okay, so to set the stage, Amélie takes place in Montmartre,
Mm-hmm.
in Paris, a neighborhood known for its, like, artistic vibe
Mm-hmm.
and, like, that romantic charm.
Yeah.
But director Jean-Pierre Jeunet didn't just film in Montmartre.
Right.
He created what he called a fake Paris.
Yeah, it's like this heightened version of the city.
Ooh, I love him.
More vibrant, more whimsical. It's almost like a dream.
Yeah,
Really sets the tone for the whole film and perfectly reflects Amelie's personality.
I love that. Okay, so how does color play into this, like, fake Paris?
So each dominant color in the film reflects different aspects of Amelie's personality and her
Okay.
journey.
Okay.
So let's start with red.
Okay.
Red is a bold color. It's associated with passion, warmth,
Mm-hmm.
and in Amelie, red often appears in her apartment and clothing. Uh-huh.
Symbolizing her, like, loving and caring nature.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I remember those scenes from her childhood with those bright red cherries and raspberries.
Yeah.
They're so vivid, they almost jump off the screen.
Right. And those reds are totally intentional.
Okay.
They connect us back to Amélie's, like, vibrant inner world, even as a child, navigating a somewhat lonely upbringing.
Yeah.
It's a great example of how, like, a simple color choice
Right.
can convey so much about a character.
Okay, so we've got red for warmth and passion.
Mm-hmm.
What about green?
Green provides a visual counterpoint to the energy of red.
Okay.
It represents hope and tranquility,
Uh-huh.
offering a sense of peace.
Yeah.
You'll see it in Amélie's clothing, in the lush gardens that she escapes to.
Right.
It's almost like a visual representation of her desire for balance and serenity.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm starting to see how these colors like work together to paint a picture of who Amelie is.
Yeah.
Now, yellow seems to be everywhere in the film.
No. It gives the movie such a warm, inviting glow.
Yeah, you're right. Yellow is key to creating that dreamy atmosphere,
Yeah.
especially during Amelie's daydreams and fantasies.
Right.
It represents sunshine and happiness,
Mm-hmm.
and it's often used in the lighting to soften the edges of the world.
Uh-huh.
You'll notice that the film often uses yellow light instead of pure white,
Cool.
adding to that surreal, almost magical feel.
Wow. I never even noticed that about the lighting.
Yeah,
But now that you mention it,
right.
it makes total sense. It really does add to that feeling of being transported to a different world.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got red, we've got green, yellow.
Uh-huh.
What about blue?
Blue is less prominent,
Okay.
but still significant.
Right.
It tends to appear in connection with Nino.
Right. Amélie's love interest.
Emily's love interest, exactly.
Yeah.
Remember that scene with the blue backlit poster behind Nino?
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
That blue isn't just a random choice.
Right.
It symbolizes their shared longing for connection and happiness. Subtle, but it adds another layer of meaning to their relationship.
I'm starting to see Amélie in a whole new light.
Uh-huh.
It's amazing how these color choices can add so much depth to the story.
And it's not just about making the film visually appealing.
Right.
These colors actually contribute to the film's overall message and themes,
Okay.
which we'll delve into further as we continue our deep dive.
Awesome.
Yeah. What's fascinating about Amelie is like how color isn't just used to create a mood
Uh-huh.
or an atmosphere. It's like woven into the storytelling itself.
Okay. I'm intrigued. How does that work?
Remember that scene where Amelie sees Nino in the cafe and like literally dissolves into a puddle of water?
Oh, yeah. It's so quirky and unexpected.
Exactly. And it's a perfect example of color being used to visually represent Amelie's emotional state.
Okay.
She is completely overwhelmed by her feelings for Nino.
Right.
And that sudden shift in color from the warm tones of the cafe to that watery blue
Yeah.
perfectly mirrors that inner turmoil. It's like the color itself is telling us what Amelie is feeling.
That's such a clever use of color. It's almost like the colors are a language of their own,
Yeah,
conveying emotions that words can't always capture.
precisely. And if we look at Amelie and Nino as individuals,
Okay.
we can see this color language at work again.
Okay.
Amelie's world is very ordered and controlled,
Uh-huh.
often bathed in those warm reds and greens that we talked about earlier.
And Nino, on the other hand, is more of a free spirit.
Exactly.
His life is a bit more chaotic and unpredictable.
Exactly. And visually, this is reflected in the use of more dynamic colors
Uh-huh.
and camera movements in the scenes that focus on him.
Yeah.
It highlights the differences in their personalities and experiences.
So when they eventually come together, finding a kind of balance in their relationship, is that reflected in how their color palettes start to blend?
You hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
It's a visual metaphor for their connection and how they complement each other. The colors become more harmonious as their relationship develops, symbolizing the way they find unity despite their differences.
This is making me appreciate Amélie on a whole new level. You know, for a seemingly lighthearted film, it actually touches on some pretty deep themes, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's not all just romance and whimsy.
Right.
Amélie explores loneliness, isolation, and the search for connection
Yeah.
in a way that feels very relevant to the modern world.
And color plays a role in conveying those themes as well.
Uh-huh.
Like the character of Raymond Dufile,
Right.
the painter who's shut off from the world.
Yes.
His apartment is often bathed in these muted, almost melancholic tones.
That's a great observation. His color palette reflects his inner state,
Yeah.
his sense of isolation, and his struggle to connect.
And then you have Madeline Wallace, the concierge, who's haunted by memories of her lost love.
Yeah.
Her apartment is full of these faded, dusty pinks and greens
Right.
that evoke a sense of longing and nostalgia for the past.
Exactly. Even the secondary characters have their own distinct color palettes
Wow.
that provide a window into their inner lives and experiences.
It shows just how much thought and care went into every aspect of this film.
Absolutely.
This attention to detail is also evident in how Amélie doesn't just dwell on those darker themes.
Uh-huh.
Ultimately, it offers a message of hope
Right.
and the transformative power of small acts of kindness.
Right. Amelie's quest to bring happiness to those around her is a perfect example.
Yeah.
And visually, this is often accompanied by bursts of vibrant color, like the sunflowers she leaves for the grumpy grocer,
Yeah.
or the red gnome she sends on a trip around the world to cheer up her father.
Those are such iconic images from the film.
Yeah.
They perfectly capture that sense of whimsy and joy that Amélie brings into the world. But she's not just like randomly spreading cheer, is she?
You're right. It's not random at all. Her acts of kindness are carefully planned and executed,
Yeah.
showing that she puts real thought and effort into making a positive impact.
It's like she's an artist, using her imagination and creativity
Mm-hmm.
to make the world a little brighter.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And this raises an interesting question for our listeners.
Okay.
Have you ever felt inspired to spread a little joy after watching Amelie?
Oh, yeah.
How do we, as viewers, connect with her mission?
I know I have. It's part of what makes the film so enduringly appealing.
Yeah.
It encourages us to look for those little moments of beauty and connection in our own lives.
Right.
To embrace our own quirks and passions.
Mm-hmm.
And to find joy in the simple things.
I couldn't agree more. And you know, this connects to a broader idea in media studies,
Okay.
that films can inspire us, challenge us, and even help us to see the world in a new way.
Millie is definitely a film that does all of that. It's a reminder that even amidst the chaos and cynicism of modern life,
Right.
there's still room for wonder, kindness, and human connection.
Exactly. It shows us that even the smallest actions can have a profound impact,
Yeah.
creating ripples of joy that spread far beyond ourselves.
I love that.
But you know, I think we need to circle back to that fake Paris idea.
Okay.
You mentioned earlier that it highlights the constructed nature of reality in film.
Uh-huh.
Can you elaborate on that a bit more?
Sure. It's easy to forget that when we watch a film, we're entering a world that's been carefully crafted by the filmmakers.
Right.
They're making deliberate choices about what to show us.
Yeah.
how to frame the shots, what colors to use, what music to play.
Exactly.
All of these elements work together to create a particular experience for the viewer.
And Amélie Jeunet is very upfront about the fact that he's creating a fake Paris.
Right.
It's a heightened, idealized version of the city.
Yep.
He's essentially saying, I'm not trying to show you reality as it is. I'm creating a world that reflects Amélie's perspective, a world that's full of beauty, wonder, and possibility.
So as viewers, we're invited to suspend our disbelief and experience the story through her eyes.
Yes.
We step into this world that's been meticulously designed to evoke certain feelings and ideas.
Exactly, and I think that's part of what makes the film so engaging. It's not just a story, it's an invitation to see the world differently.
It's mind-blowing to think about how something as seemingly simple as color can be such a powerful tool for storytelling and for shaping our emotions.
And that's why studying film can be so fascinating.
Right.
It helps us understand how these visual elements work together to create meaning and to engage with the world in a more critical and thoughtful way.
I've always loved movies, but I never really thought about them on this level before. It's like you've opened up a whole new world for me.
I'm glad to hear that. And, I think that's the beauty of deep dives like this.
Yeah.
It allows us to explore familiar things with a fresh perspective and to discover new layers of meaning and appreciation.
Before we move on to our final act, I'd love to hear from our listeners.
Yes.
Have you ever revisited a film after learning more about the filmmaking process? Did it change your experience? Share your thoughts in the comments below. It's amazing to think that Amelie has become like this cultural touchstone, inspiring everything from fashion to travel to other works of art. Why do you think this film in particular has had such a lasting impact on our culture?
That's a great question. I think there are a few key factors at play here.
Okay.
First, there's that unique visual style we've been talking about,
Right.
The vibrant colors, the whimsical camera work, and the quirky set design.
Yeah.
They all work together to create a world that feels both familiar and kind of fantastical at the same time.
It was like stepping into a dream,
Yeah.
but a dream with like real heart and soul.
Exactly.
It's not just a visual spectacle. It's a world that you actually want to like spend time in.
Right. And that distinctive aesthetic has definitely influenced countless filmmakers and artists, encouraging them to embrace a more playful and expressive approach to their work.
I've definitely seen echoes of Amelie in other films, especially in how they use color and set design to create a mood or an atmosphere. It's like a visual language that Jeunet helped to popularize.
Absolutely. And then there's the character of Amélie herself.
Right.
She's become this iconic figure representing kindness, quirkiness, and the power of one person to make a positive impact on the world.
Audrey Tautou's performance is a big part of that, too.
Oh, for sure.
She brings such warmth and charm to the role.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine anyone else as Amelie.
I completely agree. Her portrayal is both endearing and inspiring. She shows us that it's okay to be different, to embrace our unique perspectives.
Right.
And to use our imaginations to make the world a little brighter.
But it's interesting, Amelie wasn't universally loved when it came out.
That's right.
Some critics found it too sweet.
Yeah, too whimsical.
Too whimsical.
Too removed from the realities of life in Paris.
That's right. There were definitely some who felt that Jeunet's fake Paris was an unrealistic portrayal that glossed over the city's, like, grittier side.
Yeah, but I think that misses the point of what Jeunet was trying to do. He
Right.
wasn't creating a documentary.
Exactly.
He was crafting a world that reflected Amelie's perspective.
Yeah.
A world where beauty and kindness could prevail.
Yeah.
It's a deliberate choice, a way of highlighting the power of film to transport us to different realities.
And I think that's why the film has resonated with so many people. It offers a kind of antidote to the cynicism and negativity that we often encounter in the world.
Yeah.
It reminds us that even small acts of kindness can make a difference.
Uh-huh.
And that there's still magic to be found in the everyday.
You've captured the essence of the film perfectly.
Okay.
And I think there's one more element we need to mention
Okay.
that contributes to its enduring appeal, the music.
The music. Oh, yeah.
Jan Tiersen's score is just as whimsical and enchanting as the visuals. It
Right.
perfectly complements the film's tone and adds another layer of emotional depth to the storytelling.
Oh, absolutely. The music is so essential to the experience of watching Amelie.
Yeah.
Those accordion melodies and playful piano tunes just transport you right into her world. It's like the soundtrack to a daydream.
And much like the color palette, The music also shifts to reflect Amelie's emotional state.
Uh-huh.
There are moments of joy, melancholy, longing, and hope.
Yeah.
All beautifully expressed through Tierson's score.
Right.
It's a masterful example of how music can enhance and deepen the emotional impact of a film.
Well, as we wrap up our deep dive into the colorful world of Amélie, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought.
Okay.
If you were to create a color palette for your own life, what colors would you choose and why? Think about the emotions you want to evoke, the stories you want to tell, and the world you want to create.
Right.
Maybe Amélie can inspire you to add a little more color and whimsy to your own journey.
It's a wonderful exercise, and thank you for joining us on this exploration of Amélie.
Yes.
I hope you've gained a new appreciation for the power of visual storytelling.
Absolutely.
And the magic that can unfold when we embrace our imaginations.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.